Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my new gear room. Check out this thing that my friend built me. Isn't that a cool gear wall? Apologies, the messiness is on me. I haven't yet set it all up. It's brand new, but I'm very excited about it. Hey, so I just got back from an epic trip in Namibia, and believe it or not, a lot of the photos I took, not the majority, but I took many photos from small bush planes, like out the window of landscapes near and far, and it was a whole lot of fun. And I thought today's editing lesson would be a good one to talk about how to edit photographs taken from a plane, and mostly from bush planes. Like, we're not talking about 747s. That's very far off the ground. These are like where you can actually see the scenery. So check out the photo we're gonna be starting with. I'm gonna show you the before and the after, and then we're gonna go back to the before and walk through the entire process with a couple really interesting things. I'm gonna call out one thing that I actually am gonna use white balance gradients in order to make a really interesting artistic kind of vibe, but a whole lot more. So check it out. Okay, so here is the before shot. This is the raw shot. Obviously nothing shows stopping, but check out the after. This is what it's gonna turn into, and I like this photo a lot. I don't know if you do, but I personally do. I think it's interesting. It reminds me really of what my eyes saw, the gradients of light, the drama, the little riverbed, the cragginess. So let's go back to the original, and let's go ahead and start editing this bad boy. Okay, so I'm over on my editing panel here. Gosh, what am I gonna do first? Well, just to entertain you, because I usually start with auto, I know for a fact I'm not gonna keep it this way. That's what auto is gonna do. You know, it doesn't change the color. It's a little bit more on the blacks. Obviously, that's very common for things that have a lot of haze. But I will give you a secret, not so a secret, is that I'm gonna be doing a lot of the dehaze slider here because it's going to cut through the haze by using various meta-analyses, essentially enriching the blacks. That's kind of what happens here. So let's start off with a global dehaze. Let's just boost that because I know I'm gonna wanna do it a little bit. And then because I see an opportunity to boost whites, I'm just gonna boost the whites a little bit. I'm not touching exposure. Whites are a little bit more of a nuanced exposure. It's not gonna really touch too much of the darks and the blacks. And again, because we're dealing with haze, we actually want the blacks to really be very pronounced. But we're seeing that the overall scene looks very cool. And I don't dislike that. I think distances oftentimes are cool, but we're seeing a lot of kind of potential yellows and oranges here. So I'm going to show you a trick here I have here is I'm going to do two different gradient filters, or gradient masks rather. I'm going to start off with one. We're going to sweep down from the top left to the right, maybe a little bit less of the scene, but I'm definitely going to get that horizon more. So I'm going to angle it like that. And I'm going to make this cool. So come down here to the slider, make it a little bit cooler. But I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to do two different white balance gradients. And I'm going to come up from here. I'm actually going to really try to sweep in a lot of the sand. And I'm going to try to be basically reciprocal to that. So that was probably about what it was. And I'm going to come down here and then go for my warm tones. And check out what that does. I think the eye and the mind loves the juxtaposition of cool and warm, of blue and yellow. It's just, they're very complementary, dare I say supplementary type colors. So I like that a lot. Now that I have it in place in the angle I want, I might even have it come over further. I can move it around as much as I want. And remember, everything on the bottom of that, so down here, that is going to be a full treatment. And it's going to be graduated up to the left. But that's kind of a good spot right here. I am not going to do anything more with those two masks. I'm going to hit E to come back to my main editing pane. I think I'm going to do a dehaze gradient as well. And I'm going to swipe up from the bottom because it's natural for there to be haze in the distance. We know this is a distance scene. So I'm going to start from the bottom, and I'm not going to do dehaze in the distance because it's going to start to look fake. But we're going to do a little bit more here just to bring some more clarity and some more definition in the shot. I'm going to do a little bit of texture because I like the cragginess of it. I'm noticing there's a lot of blue here, but it's okay. We'll deal with that later. The next thing is I'm seeing this river, or really a wash, and I'm going to want to bring this out a little bit, just a touch. So I'm going to hit J to get a little bit of a oval or ellipsis mask. I'm going to put it over this. I'm going to stretch it out so it's kind of nice and diffuse. And I'm just going to come over here to the exposure. And since I know I only want to touch, I'm just going to go up with my arrow, just a little bit. You can barely even notice it. And then I'm going to come down to whites, and then I'm going to boost those as well. So what it does, the eye catches it a little bit better. I might, for experimental purposes, just come over to warm this up a little bit just to match the other part, but nah, I don't really need to do much of that. It's too much. Okay, so we've got most everything that I wanted from the shot, but I'm probably going to reduce blacks on a global level, or you know what? I'm going to come over to the mask again, and because I don't want to get blacks in the distance, because it's supposed to be hazy that far out. We're talking about miles and miles. But here in the foreground, a little bit of blacks will probably go a long way. A little bit of contrast to darken the blacks even more and boost the whites. And then now I'm really going to fine tune this blue to yellow transition. So I'll come back over here, and I think I'm going to saturate this a little bit. Just bring out those yellows even more. And I think I'm actually going to oppose that blue by stretching this a little bit more. And yeah, oh, I like that. So you can see here this interesting almost yin-yang of blue in the distance, yellow in the foreground. The last thing I'll do, because my eye naturally goes here and here, I'm going to create one more radial mask. I'm going to feather it significantly. See how I can come to the right and then it's even more of a feather on the edges there. So I'm going to feather it significantly and just place it where I think my eye is naturally drawn to. And then I'm going to get a little bit more saturation. I'm going to get a little bit of clarity. And then, yeah, voila, that's the shot. So let's see the before and after. Before, after. That's got some good drama. That takes an airplane window shot from decent to, I think, great. I love this. It puts me back there. It's got some depth, it's got some color, it's got some intrigue, and I think it's ultimately a great shot. So yeah, go forth and conquer. Next time you're in an airplane, whether it's in Africa, Alaska, anywhere in the world, do not hesitate to photograph out the window. Remember, get that lens as close as you can to the window to minimize reflections. Slap a 24 to 105 on so you can get the wide angle, you can get some telephoto, and just shoot, shoot, shoot. And you'll come back, edit like this, and get some cool shots. Thanks, folks. See you next time.